हेलो हेलो
डिले आएगा.
हेलो हेलो
કેટલા સેલ મંગાય છે બોસ? હા આઈને કે કેટલા સેકન્ડ ડિલે? નહીં આયા 2 સેકન્ડ का डिले है. 30 સેકન્ડ 30 સેકન્ડ ડિલે 30 સેકન્ડ ડિલે કેમ નેટ ના લીધે નેટ નહીં ડિલે રાખવું જ પડે. સેકન્ડ ડિલે નથી 3 સેકન્ડ ડિલે છે પેલો હમણાં જ થઈ બનાવ્યો. હા YouTube ઉપર YouTube पे सेल लेंगे क्या मुझे दे लाइव फटाफट ऊपर आइए. આનો ઓડિયો કેવો હોય ત્યાંથી કેપ્ચર કરે કે સ્પીકર માઇકનો ખાલી માઇકનો જ આવે. જી તમને હમણાં એ જ ને સામેવાળાનો બ્લાસ્ટ જે બે સારા ફોટોસ છે એ મેલ કરીને સાગરને સાગર
हेलो हेलो हेलो
Hello, good morning everyone. Sorry for the inconvenience. We'll be starting with the event in a while. First, we have the lamp lighting, and that would be happening outside the B&B hall because we are not allowed to do it here. So I'd request everyone to please come outside for the lamp lighting. Thank you. कल लाते हैं, स्काईलाइन का सफ़र नई दिशा में जाते हैं। शहर की शुरुआत आनंददायक राह गुजारी, ऊंची इमारतों का साथ हमारे स्वप्नों का साकारी। I would now like to call Bhagwat Sardara on the stage to begin the event with the performance of classical music. And I'd also request everyone to please keep their phone on silent. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. It is very rightly said that any event that starts with a good prayer or a classical rags always result into a very good aura. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm just gonna present a few alaps of Rag Yaman, and then we'll start a song in the Rag Khamaj and Desh. So sit back, relax, and enjoy with your permission. you so much.
Thank you, Bhagwat. That was a magical performance and a great start to our event. I would now like to call Madhuvanti Sridhar on stage for her classical dance performance. Thank you. Thank you, Bhagwat. That was a magical performance and a great start to our event. I would now like to call
गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि गानचतुराय गानप्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदैवताय गुरुकुलस्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुह्यप्रवराय गुरवे गुणगुरवे गुरुदैत्यकलक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्मसदाराध्याय गुरुपुत्रपरित्रात्रे गुरुपाखण्डखण्डकाय गीतसाराय गीततत्त्वाय गीतगोत्राय धीमहि गूढगुल्फाय गन्धमत्ताय गोजयप्रदाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि
जय हो शंकरा आदिदेव शंकरा तेरे जाप के बिना चले ये सांस किस तरह। मेरा कर्म तू ही जाने, क्या बुरा है क्या भला। तेरे रास्ते पे मैं तो आंख मूंद के चला। तेरे नाम की जोत ने सारा हर लिया तमस मेरा। नमो नमो जी शंकरा, भोलेनाथ शंकरा, जय त्रिलोकनाथ शंभु हे शिवाय शंकरा। नमो नमो जी शंकरा, भोलेनाथ शंकरा, रुद्रदेव हे महेश्वरा। नमो नमो जी शंकरा, भोलेनाथ शंकरा, जय त्रिलोकनाथ शंभु हे शिवाय शंकरा। नमो नमो जी शंकरा, भोलेनाथ शंकरा, रुद्रदेव हे महेश्वरा। रुद्रदेव हे महेश्वरा, रुद्रदेव हे महेश्वरा।
Thank you, Madhuvanti, for this beautiful dance performance. I would like to call Vrihit Jetwa, the President of Student Council, Undergraduate Student Council for the Faculty of Technology, to come up on the stage and speak briefly.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rohit Jetwa, and I am truly honored to stand before you as the President of Student Council. It is a day we celebrate the remarkable strides made in the field of engineering. Today, we are fortunate to have with us esteemed panel of guests and experts who have dedicated their whole life in the pursuit of knowledge and excellence. Your invaluable insights and experiences will undoubtedly ignite the minds of our future engineers. Of course, none of this would be possible without the heart and soul of our institution, the students and the dedicated faculty members. Your passion, hard work, and the pursuit of knowledge will be the driving force behind the success of E-Day 2023. Engineers Day is celebrated to pay tribute to Bharat Ratna M. Vishveshwarayya. It is also marked as the Foundation Day of Faculty of Technology. On this occasion, the student body and the faculties take up socially relevant subjects that concern the construction industry. The event is also marked by erection of structures showcasing academic work and cultural events. These are the structures prepared by the student body for the year 2023. Once again, I extend my warmest welcome to each and every one of you. Let's make E-Day 2023 a day to be remembered, filled with inspiration and learning. Thank you.
I'd like to invite our Dean, Dr. Anil Shah, on stage to say a few words. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Indeed, a lovely performance by Bhagavat and Madhuvanti. It was a surprise for us, actually. So, very nice surprise. Thank you so much. My heartfelt thanks to all the dignitaries present today here on these days to motivate these young minds. Just a moment, dear students, this is your day and your occasion. And I can see you all working tirelessly since past 1 week. Today morning when I came to Sept and I was walking across the campus, I could see this vibrancy. I could see all these beautiful girls in saris and, boys and really mature matured suits and all. And it's really good to see you all in this. And I understand lot many things happened past 2 weeks. There were proposals, there were denials, there were discussions, there were arguments, and lot many things. But I see this thing has shaped up really well, and probably you proved us wrong. Congratulations. And I think all is well if it ends well, correct? So it's good. Yeah. So, for the people who are coming up for the first time, this is a feeling of, how we celebrate Engineers Day. Students really work tirelessly for 10 days or 15 days, and then they come up with some surprises. Yeah, so thank you, and thank you to faculty members as well. On this Engineers Day, we celebrate the birthday of great engineer, Sir Mokshagundan Vishveshwarayya, who made significant contributions in the field of engineering. His works, his projects, and his dedication to his profession have been truly inspirational. His principles of integrity, honesty, and hard work are fundamental values that all engineers should aspire to embody. Even I have something for you. I'm sharing a story of, life of a very profound engineer you must have heard about, but you need to guess about whom I'm talking about. This person was born in France in 1832, and he lived for 91 years, a huge legacy he has left behind for all of us. He died in 1923. He had a remarkable life and is fondly known as magician of iron because he was brilliant engineer and scientist at par. He was also known as an engineer scientist. It will be great if you can guess the name of that person. I'll be keep on, discussing something about him, and I would like to see at what instance you can guess the name of that person. He spent most of his time with his grandmother. His parents were quite busy with the family business. He was not at all studious and thought his classes were quite boring. He gained his diploma in humanities and science. He earned his master's degree in chemistry. Any clue? Anything? Any guess? Nothing from the panelist. For the students, yeah. Okay. He was dreaming to have his career as a chemical engineer and work in some chemical-related factories. However, his dream got completely shattered because of various reasons, and he took an unpaid job in foundry and then worked for a railway engineer and learned to design bridges, railway-related bridges, and then was also the head of the research department in different company, but under the same person. I'm not deliberately telling the name. This association made him design and construct bridges starting from 22 meters span to 500 meters span. He invented techniques related to compressed air cations and hydraulic rams to launch the girders. He became project manager and designed and constructed several domes, stations, bridges, continuing his research in cast iron and wrought iron, establishing the properties of modulus of elasticity. Any clue? Any guess? Wait for a while. Yeah. He introduced the concept of prefabricated bridges, a very unique concept this introduced before like 100 years back. Readily transported the bridges in the area with poor connectivity. He designed world's largest dome at that time, which was having like 22 meters, 22.4 meters of diameter with bearing device not on a wheel or a roller, but a ring-shaped hollow trough carrying the solution of magnesium chloride in water. Because he was a chemistry guy, he could always relate chemistry and engineering, and he brought in lot many things. He designed and constructed inner framework of Statue of Liberty, and that brought him the most renowned work of his lifetime, a tower in Paris. Now, please don't do this. Okay. So most of you probably you know the name. Anyways, a lot of oppose was there from artists and designers of Paris, but he gave clarifications for all, and this marvelous monument with 5,200 drawings, 250 men employed for about 5 years, 18,038 parts with precision to 0.1 mm. Congrats. Thanks. Yeah. And he completed this project ahead of the schedule with 6% lesser budget. He was on the top of his career when there was one project that led him to bankruptcy, that led him to a lot of scams, and he had to leave his firm, and he had to leave his name of the firm, he had to rename the firm, and he had to leave everything. He had to leave the designing. But this setback did not stop him from doing other things. Later, he worked in wireless technology and aerodynamics. He also constructed large wind tunnels where, real scaled airplanes were being tested, and many other structures were being tested. He had weather station at his house, and he compiled meteorological readings from about 25 different places in France and gave the whole document to government. So I'm just trying to show you the versatility of this person. He was ardent fan of Beethoven, and he died listening to one of his masterpieces. So he had other life too. I was speaking about none other than what already my student just gave an answer. But what qualities made him special, and what can we get from reading the lives of these kind of people? He always was focusing on problem solving. He was always adaptive to new technologies. He was persistent and insistent on the engineering decisions because he had confidence with his calculations and theory. He had confidence in his own self. He was a practitioner of accuracy and manufacturing, accuracy in design and manufacturing. He practiced construction management, science, engineering, development, structural analysis, builder, giving cost-effective designs. He was a versatile engineer, and he designed 500 plus, great structures in about 30 countries across the world. He was an engineer, an entrepreneur, and an innovator. He was a patron of science. We need to take inspiration from such engineers. Nothing limits to your imagination, no limits to the quest of the knowledge, and there is always a room of innovation in whatever you do. That is what we learn from Gustave Eiffel. You can see his life ranging from, a simple unpaid assistant to a very good designer to a person who knew chemistry really well, and he mingled all his knowledge in creating knowledge in different areas of the study. To the esteemed guest, I will just take few moments to just tell you what we are doing differently at Sept. So for about an undergraduate program in about 2019, we introduced a studio-based pedagogy, which is a complete unique pedagogy for the engineering education. Of course, that was happening at postgraduate level, but for engineering education at undergraduate level, we are the only university who are actually adapting a studio-based pedagogy. This is unique in the way because we're training students with sound engineering principles and pushing them to be innovative thinkers and problem solvers. There are always mixed reviews, but we really feel that we're going in the correct direction because there are statistics which I'll be sharing with you. So when postgraduate student is with us, he's doing about 3 to 4 studios, and when undergraduate student is with us, they're doing about 6 to 7 studios. with us which are really deep and really instigating their minds to become a good problem solver and be a good engineer. They also have a semester-long professional training that hones their skill in the areas that they choose. So probably someday we'll be discussing about what kind of studios we are offering. We have some continued tutors with us who are coming and teaching studios. So thank you very much. This has led us to following statistics. Almost 100% placement, 10 students going, about 10 students going to international universities as an exchange students, and this is just recently started. 15 plus collaboration with the industries, about 6 plus collaborations with the international universities. What is unique is we have 1 or 2 IPRs coming out every year now because of this problem solving type, innovative type studios, one-on-one learning kind of studios. So every year we have 1 or 2 IPRs, and this is really achievement. Approximately we have 1 or 2 students achievements monthly at Faculty of Technology. So summing up, you may get about a total list of about 20 to 30 students achievements across here, and this is a phenomenal number for Faculty of Technology, and this has all happened since past 2 years. And undergraduate students are going to some of the finest universities of the world, and their works are really getting recognized, and we don't need anything beyond that. Summing up, engineers, all these young engineers, we bear a huge responsibility on our shoulders, and are problem solvers for the society. Engineers Day is not just a celebration, but it's also a day of reflection. It's a day to appreciate the work of the other engineers and to recognize their incredible impact that they have left on our world. Let us celebrate the spirit of engineering, and may we continue to innovate, to build, and make this world a better place to live with sustainable and technological advanced future. Thank you very much. Thank you, council members. Thank you, faculty members. Thank you, panelists, for coming over here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anil ma'am, for addressing the event. Now I invite Dhruvi Bhatt, the Academic Secretary of Undergraduate Student Council of Faculty of Technology, to brief us about today's topic. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm thrilled to welcome you all to this panel discussion event on high-rise construction in Ahmedabad. Today we gather here to shed light on the fascinating and dynamic world of high-rise construction with a particular focus on Ahmedabad and its role in shaping and future of tall buildings. Before we dive into specifics of Ahmedabad's high-rise landscape, let us take a moment to consider a broader global context. Global landscape of a tall building is a testament of a human innovation and urban evolution. From the glittering skyline of New York City to the futuristic architecture of Dubai, high-rise construction has drastically altered the way we live and work. The demand of vertical living spaces has been on rise, driven by factors such as population growth, urbanization, and the need of efficient land use. As a result, we have witnessed a global proliferation of skyscraper that has redefined a very essence of urban life. Now, let us turn our attention to India. Our country, with its rich history and diverse culture, it is experiencing a high-rise revolution of its own. Major cities like Mumbai, Bangalore, and Hyderabad have embraced the vertical growth model of accommodate to the growing urban population and address the challenges of limited land availability. The skyline of these cities consistently evolving with iconic skyscrapers that reflect India's aspiration and economic prowess. as Ahmedabad is thriving city in Gujarat, aspires to join the league of global metropolises, it is expected to witness enormous developments on the front of sky-high buildings. To motivate and enlighten Ahmedabad's desire for vertical expansion in increasingly and urbanized world, this panel discussion intends to distill opportunities and challenges on the path towards discussion intends to distill opportunities and challenges on the path towards vertical urban development in the form of a tall building. This city faced significant turning point in its multi-storied development after devastating earthquake of 2001. The Gujarat earthquake, with magnitude of 7.7 on the Richter scale, caused widespread destruction and dismay, proving to be a turning point for the city development. In aftermath of this disaster, Ahmedabad saw declaration in urban planning and construction in the high-rise sector. The city took important lesson from the earthquake, emphasizing the need for earthquake-resistant building designs, regulations, safety measures. It was a catalyst for development of codes, regulations that now govern high-rise construction in the city. Today's panel discussion will help us explore various aspects of high-rise construction in Ahmedabad. Our esteemed panelists, who are experts in field, will share their insights on topics such as sustainable design, technological advancements, urban planning, and economic implications of high-rise construction in this vibrant city. Together, we will explore the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead and gain a deeper understanding of role that collegial construction play in shape the urban landscape of our city. I am delighted to express my gratitude to our distinguished panelists and everyone present here for being a part of this prolific, insightful discussion. Now I would like to invite Sagar Shah to introduce our panelists. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's well. It's a very pleasant morning and we have a lot of esteemed panelists in front of us here. So myself, Sagar Shah, I stand before you to inaugurate this panel discussion on a subject that has truly shaped our skyline, that is tall building construction. As we gather here, we embark on a journey to explore our cities, the soaring heights of architectural innovation, the profound impact on our cities, and the fascinating challenges and opportunities that come with the construction of tall buildings. Welcome to a conversation that will elevate our understanding of the vertical dimension in our ever-evolving world. So let's start with the panel introduction, which will be followed by the panel discussion. So first of all, let's invite on stage Mr. Bhairav Patel, the owner of Stuckart Consultants, on stage. Let's welcome him with a round of applause. Mr. Bhairav Patel is a seasoned civil engineer based in Ahmedabad. He possesses extensive expertise in civil structures and structural engineering. As the founder of Stuckart Design Consultants in 2011, he provides innovative solutions to complex engineering challenges. His academic background includes a master's in structural engineering from Sept University and a bachelor's in civil engineering from Nirma University. His profound dedication and proficiency in the field have solidified his reputation as a leading figure in the industry, ensuring the safety and reliability of structures in diverse projects. So let's welcome him again with a round of applause. Now let's invite on stage Mr. Bhavish Dodia, the Associate Director of Saksham Consultants, on stage. He is an accomplished Associate Director of Project Management Consultancy at Saksham Consultants, located in Ahmedabad. He brings over a decade of experience and expertise in civil engineering projects, specializing in project management and construction. With a solid foundation in civil engineering, he excels in technical and managerial aspects. His notable projects include Astral House and Amcure Pharmaceuticals. His dedication to excellence and proven track record establish him as a highly regarded professional in the industry. Let's give him a warm applause. Moving on, let's invite Mr. Deepal Patwa, Managing Director, Patwa Associates. He is the Managing Director of Patwa Associates since his career in 1991 and successfully accomplished number of projects which include hospitality, industrial, commercial, residential as well as private projects. His project management consultancy includes management and coordination of civil, interior, MEP services and landscaping work. His educational background includes a Bachelor of Civil Engineering from Shantilal Shah Engineering College, Bhavnagar. So let's again give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Deepen Mehta, the Managing Director of PCS Project Management and Aqua Utilities Design and Management on stage. He boasts a distinguished career in project management, MEP design consultancy and construction management. With a background in civil engineering, he has made significant contributions at organizations like Aqua Utility Designs and Management, excelling in MEP design, plumbing, fire protection and electrical systems. At PCS, his expertise in tendering, quality and feasibility assessment continues to drive successful project execution, solidifying his status as a notable figure in the industry. His dedication to innovative and sustainable solutions shapes the construction and project management landscape in India. So let's give him a round of applause. Next, let's invite on stage Mr. Mihir Vora, partner KBM Engineering Research Laboratory, one of the senior most person for the geotech industry in Ahmedabad. He currently leads as the managing director at KBM Engineering Research Laboratory. His tenure at the renowned Ahmedabad-based institution spans decades, contributing to its reputation as a trusted geotechnical and concrete technology service provider. As CEO and partner, he played a pivotal role in expanding its services. His extensive experiences encompasses managing field and laboratory testing for 3,000 plus projects and developing stringent safety and quality protocols. His geotechnical consultancy covers ground improvement, retention systems, pile capacities, settlement analysis, and stability assessments, supported by his proficiency in advanced software tools. Let's again give him a very round of applause. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Manish Dave, CTO and COO, Riviera Infra Projects Private Limited. He is a seasoned executive with 32 years of experience in the construction industry, possessing a diverse skill set that includes operation management, strategic planning, and ISO compliance. His expertise spans various project types, and he excels in developing construction project monitoring systems and integrated management systems. His technological acumen is evident through his in-house ERP system implementation and business intelligence tools. He also champions talent development through state-of-the-art training centers and technical training programs. With a balanced exposure to management, quality control, and project monitoring, he is a versatile professional driving success in construction. Let's again applaud for the panelists. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Pankaj Dharkar, President, Pankaj Dharkar and Associates. He is a presidential member, FSCI and chairman, FSCI Suraksha Index. He is a renowned ASHRAE and IGBC MEP and Green Building Consultant and ASHRAE and IGBC Fellow, provides innovative and sustainable solutions in the field of building engineering services. During his rich experience of 43 years, he has successfully designed and completed more than 4,500 projects in his career. He is a member of several other technical societies like ASHRAE, ISHRE, FSAI, IGBC, and many more. He is also a presidential member of ISHRE headquarters, ASHRAE WI chapter, FSAI headquarters, Fire and Security Association of India, an immediate past international president of FSAI. He is currently national chair, FSAI Suraksha Index, first global index to rate safety and security of buildings, which will help in proper fire audits, and also chairman, FSCI COVID Task Force. He is also currently the chairman of ASOCAM GM program in India. So let's welcome him with a round of applause. So next we have Mr. Rajesh Rawal. He is yet to join us. He is the retired Chief Town Planning Officer of Order Department. He has a Bachelor's of Civil Engineering degree from BVM and an Urban and Regional Planning degree from Sept University, starting his career at Assistant Town Planner with Town Planning and Valuation Department of Gujarat State, and recently retired as at Assistant Chief Town Planner of Gujarat State. He was also deputed as Officer on Special Duty to CMO. So we will welcome him in a few minutes. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Sharvil Sridhar, the Managing Director of A. Sridhar Group. He is the Managing Director of A. Sridhar Group based in Ahmedabad, a visionary leader with over a decade of expertise in construction, interior and architectural design. His journey began with a civil engineering degree from Arizona State University, followed by a master's in construction technology management. Since 2010, he has led the company to excel in diverse projects, setting them apart as an industry leader. His dedication to excellence extends to A. Sridhar Constructions, where he serves as director, upholding high industry standards with global perspective from his time in Phoenix. His contribution continue to leave a lasting impact on the built environment. Welcome, sir. We would like to extend our heartfelt welcome. Next, let's invite on stage Mr. Valay Shah, founding partner, Saksham Consultants. He is a highly skilled structural engineer and founding partner at Saksham Consultants based in Ahmedabad. He brings over a decade of expertise in structural analysis, design, and civil engineering. With a strong educational background and proficiency, he excels in diverse projects from power plants to residential complexes, showcasing a commitment to excellence in structural engineering and project management. So let's welcome him with a very huge round of applause. Next, our last panelist, Mr. Vatsal Joshi, Director at Associated Architects Private Limited. He is a renowned architect with over 3 decades of experience, serving as the director at AAPL Private Limited. His expertise encompass architectural design, planning, and the creation of iconic functional and sustainable spaces that enrich communities. Throughout his career, he has significantly contributed to Ahmedabad's urban landscape, leading various projects from residential to cultural and public infrastructure. His commitment to excellence and passion for sustainable environments extend beyond his professional role, making him a very true visionary in the field. Welcome, sir. We would like to welcome you with a huge round of applause. So before we start the panel discussion, I would like to give you a very huge round of applause for all the panelists. So meanwhile the setup is done, so let's start the discussion. The most important thing when it comes to tall buildings and vertical construction is to understand what exactly is a tall building. So it's very skeptical when it comes to what a tall building is. It can be very subjective, it can vary from area. It is very subjective and it can be considered on many categories. So as per CTBUH manual, it can be related to context. So it can vary city to city. So whatever for example, if you take a high rise in Chicago city, may not be a high rise in an European landscape. So it can vary as location and country wise as well as city wise. It can also be categorized on the base of proportion. So even if a building is slender enough to be called a tall building, but if the footprint increases with the same height, it might not be called as a tall building. So it can vary depending on the proportions of the footprint. And the last, CTBUH manual categorizes tall buildings into 3 categories: tall, mega tall, and super tall. So if the building has less than 300 meters of height, it can be considered as a tall building. While from 300 to 600 meters, it can be considered as a super tall building. While if the height extends more than 600 meters, it should be categorized under a mega tall building. So at present, there are only 3 to 4 mega tall buildings across the globe, while there are more than 100 super tall buildings across the globe. So when it comes to high-rise construction, there can be various challenges when it comes going upwards. So what are the challenges that need to be addressed for mainstreaming tall buildings in Ahmedabad is a very major issue. So Mr. Sharvil Sridhar, I would like to ask you that how the demand and customer acceptance, how do locals interpret high-rise, and what are the reservations you often face?
I think that definitely tall buildings are the most fascinating thing, and Ahmedabad has changed its orbit. It started with ground plus 1 and ground plus 2 structures, then we got into ground plus 7, then 12-story or 10-story was the thing. And I think I remember when I joined this industry, at that time, 10-story used to be the highest story building. That was 40 meters restriction. And then it changed to 14-story, which is now 45 meters. And now, then it changed to 70, and now we have up to 100 or 150 meters. So the Ahmedabad has kept changing its orbit. But this is the biggest jump that we have seen in the recent times. From jumping from 70 meters to say 100 or 150 meters, or say from 45 meters to 70 meters. And as I said, that how fascinating it is to look at tall buildings and how fascinating it is for the customers. But when it comes to the cost part and acceptance part in terms of buying, this particular subject is only restricted to high-end segment. Still, it is not so relatable to the mid-segment housing. Mid-segment housing is not able to accept the cost of the land plus the additional cost of going into a high-rise structure. So that's how I would put it. But I think let's hope that the technology is new. We still have very few contractors who are able to execute this kind of structures. And as we start accepting it more widely, we will have these tall structures which can be accepted widely by all the segments.
So continuing to the same challenges questions, I would like to ask Mr. Bhairav Patel that what kind of challenges in codal provisions and guidelines are we facing when we are designing high-rise structures?
Hello. Yes. So I think one of the unique challenges with the tall building is, I mean, from the point of view of engineering, is that it's a structure which gets governed because of the lateral loads, which is wind and earthquake. So there are codal provisions with respect to this, but I think the major challenge is going to be, that we'll need engineers who are, leaders in their field, who are able to take up the challenge to design this type of buildings. With respect to codal provisions, there are requirements of controlling the displacements, and the major challenge is going to be how to make these tall buildings efficient, right? So that, like he said, it can reach to a segment, to all the segments in the society. So I think that is going to be the challenge.
Moving on to the same topic, so I would like to ask Mr. Valaisha, what is the feasibility of codal provisions when it comes to the implementation of high-rise structures in Ahmedabad?
Feasibility and implementation of the codal provision. I will put this in a different way. These IS codes are national level guidelines. So it is not about the implementation of the code or whether feasibility of the code, but it is all about how we can achieve this feasibility or the codal provision requirement by rigorously providing a structural system, which are plenty of structural system can be adopted for the tall structure, which we talking about 100 meter or plus. At the same time, along with the architectural planning and the structural system can be adopted. Another point is there are feasibility when comes into the picture, then there is a building width criteria associated with the new high-rise code, wherein you see they have suggested that the building structural system, if it is only moment frame based system, then the building width should be or shall be h by 4, means height by 4. So if we go for a 70 meter or 100 meter of building, then the building width compulsorily shall be 25 meter. and so on. There are plenty of structural system considering like frame core system, then distributed wall, structural wall system. So accordingly, the criteria are revised. But this challenges or this feasibility will address in that way the smaller size plot or the, I would rather say, linear plots. It is difficult to accommodate this tall structure, and at the same time we have to take care of the local guideline, or I mean building margins as well. So these are the few things. And one more thing, compared to feasibility, we need to adopt a higher grade of concrete now. When we talk about 100 plus building, then we have to, or it is advisable to have M70 or M80 grade of concrete. For that, to achieve that grade of concrete, we need to set up a robust concrete design facility under the controlled environment and locations. And it is, we may use GGBS, Alcofine, and other appropriate admixture to achieve this segment. So it is all about the how you approach about the building and how you going to achieve the codal provisions. This is all about implementation, use of new technology, different structural system, and the superior construction practice. Thank you.
Continuing to the same topic, I would like to ask Mr. Vatsal Joshi that what kind of localization challenges and sustainable aspects challenges we are facing when we are talking about high-rise. So challenges in terms of how can we maintain energy efficiency and how can we tackle those challenges with the economy of the project.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I'm the odd one out here, all the engineers, and happy Engineers Day to everybody. I am the one who is kind of challenging the engineers in a way. And I'm going to challenge the topic itself, first of all. Why tall buildings? I mean, are we living in Dubai? Are we living in Hong Kong? Are we living in New York? We must understand the basics. I think the basics have to be got right. And coming right from a real estate developer, that it is just catering to high-end projects. And coming to your point of sustainability, are we really looking at a sustainable solution in high-rise buildings? Unless it gets affordable, unless it gets to the masses, it's not a sustainable solution. Again, referring to a real estate developer, they charge per square feet, and the structural engineers would vouch that the structure itself would be so heavy, or I mean the sizes of the structure would be so you are eating up on the square feet of the usable area of the consumer eventually. So does a tall building work for Ahmedabad is a big question that I would want to pose first of all. And yes, of course, when it works, I mean, let's say we have a, I think Rajesh is not here, but we have a planned area which is a CBD where the high land costs are pretty high. We can do that, but not everywhere around the city. I mean, it has to be very judiciously thought about. And that's where I think that importance of actually giving a tall building a proposal, a go ahead, is very important to understand that what can be achieved in that particular zone to make its solution, sustainable solution for everybody, to a real estate developer, a structural engineer, an architect, an MEPF guy, everybody, and eventually the end consumer, to use it very efficiently, to be affordable, to be efficient in all aspects, is the question that I think everybody here must be thinking about. Thank you.
So moving on to the same topic, like the main thing when it comes to high-rise construction is how to make it economical. If you don't make it economical, the consumer won't buy or won't go to the high-rise construction. So I would like to ask Mr. Manish Dal, as a contractor, how do you keep the project economical, or what are the various technologies which can be introduced to make the project economical?
when we are talking about economic of or the cost of the project, there are various elements which we have to keep in mind. Like first of all is the land cost itself, because ultimately when the buyer is buying, he's paying for land, he's paying for the construction, he's paying for various specifications or interiors of it, and a lot of other things which actually make up the entire cost of the project. So it's not only the cost of construction, but if I have to say for cost of construction, there are various parameters. Some of them are related to mandatory requirement, like suppose, as he said, that we may have to go for M50 grade or M60 grade of concrete, we may have to use Alcofine, or we may have to use GGBS and all that. So that will comprise, or that will make some of the cost for the concrete itself. You cannot go for M25 naturally or M30. So that's cost which is required as per the strength criteria or IS code requirements and all that. Then there are certain elements which are beautification of the project or specification. There are n number of flooring, n number of varieties of painting, and various other things are available. It depends on what type of specification we are designing for a project, and that makes it economical or costlier. So these are various parts. One, from construction perspective, what we can think is standardization to some extent. If the building is changing almost every floor or every third floor or fifth floor, then it is very difficult to make it construction perspective economical. And there are varieties of elements, if we say. So one is the, as I said, the floor-wise changes in the design, and second is the standardization of column sizes or shear wall sizes and all that. If that is made to some extent modular or standard, it can reduce cost of overall construction.
So referring to the same question which Mr. Valay said, that it is very advisable to achieve M70 or M80 grade of concrete when going for a tall building. So like as a on site, how crucial is it to maintain the quality of that high grade of concrete? Like how can it be controlled, or how can it be ensured that that particular strength is achieved so that it does not hinder the stability or the structural feasibility of the tall building?
So concrete mixed design is one very important element which everyone has to keep in mind, and it's not easy to produce M60 or 70 in varieties of weather condition, because in Ahmedabad we are facing 6 degrees, 7 degree also. Sometime in the winter we are also facing 45 to more than 45 degree temperature in summer. So, and the project has to, during construction period itself, has to go through all this cycle also. So mixed design has to be continuously monitored. Varieties of ingredients which are to be monitored properly. When we say fly ash, there are varieties of fly ash available in Gujarat. And it's not wise to use any fly ash just for the sake of it. So very good quality control required at the project plant itself. Right now there is nobody from RMC, but if we ask them, they will also tell us that mixed design, making concrete cheaper, particularly, or economical, if we say, for a higher grade, it's not that easy. They also have to struggle a little bit, particularly whenever there is a frequent change in weather, whether a change in ingredients, because many of aggregates and all these are natural ingredients. So their properties are not constant. So because of that, quality control is one of the most important thing which has to be monitored.
Thank you so much, sir. So, after construction challenges, I would like to ask Mr. Pankaj Thakur for MEDF designing. So, designing of services is way more important thing in any building. So, what are the approaches do you use to design the MEDF structures for tall buildings?
First of all, let me congratulate Sept for organizing this important event for Ahmedabad. It is always pleasure to visit Sept. I have a legacy. I came here for 20 years, taking every Monday classes, but for years I have not been coming. So thank you, Sagar, for inviting me, and it was wonderful listening to Dr. Shah and recapping my life journey. My daughter has also passed out from Sept University, so I have special connection. And I know the way you are changing the teaching profession, I think, and which is much needed for my business, which is built environment industry, is fascinating. I've been talking to Bimal for introducing architectural engineering, which is a need of our, and particularly when it comes to high-rise building, it is all about integration of all the stakeholders sitting on this dais, starting from architecture, structure, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, and also the need of sustainability and decarbonization, which is now arising. We all know that 70% of India is to be built, and it is quite contradictory, as Vatsal rightly said, when it comes to tall building, always questions being asked whether it is a right way of a right approach on sustainability and decarbonization front. But friends, I think there is no option, because if the cities are growing and if my urban infrastructure has to grow to complement the nation's need, and particularly in cities like Mumbai, Hyderabad and Bangalore, where it has already changed the landscape. And I have been fortunate to be working with close to 33% building of this nation, which are in excess of 150 meters. And to answer a question of Sharvil Bhai, I think in Mumbai we are doing rehab buildings which are 50 stories now. And they have been done. Of course, the cost which you get as a builder is much higher than Ahmedabad, so probably it doesn't affect the builders. But the trend is setting in, and I'm sure that day is not far when, as you rightly said, from 40 to 45 meters, we were at that level for years, when it jumped to 70 meter, and from 70 to 150 meter had been quite fast. And not only that, we are going down also, because now in Ahmedabad we are doing 5 basements. So 5 basement down, 150 meter up, brings a lot of MEP challenges. Of course, structure is challenging, but to me it starts, to answer your question, it starts from setting the fire and life safety as first objective, whether architects have rightly taken my dead-end distances, the egresses, they are very important, and we have to work with them as fire and life safety engineers, apart from MEP, is extremely important. So it all starts on the drawing board with the fire and life safety, and it has to be understood that when it goes to 150 meters, the plumbing pressures are immense, so we need to break those pressures, otherwise the fittings and fixtures could start leaking. And also coupled with this wind pressures, and in case of earthquake, the understanding of seismic analysis to MEP engineers and architecture and structure becomes very important. The way we design supports for a normal building and for a tall building are completely different. We need to understand from the structural engineer as first input, what is the way of building in the worst case, and then start supporting designing of it. It is not only piping design, or even the electrical cables which goes up needs to be taken care, because in case of any activity of seismic, entire building function can go off. So working with structure, working with architecture, starting from life safety, fire, also understanding of smoke evacuation, pressurization in case any event happens, how do you safely egress, and for that whatever HVAC integration is required with automations, so it becomes very important subject of integration, starting from understanding of smoke detection, how it is moving to various HVAC systems, and taking down the occupants of those high-rise to the safety levels, to the levels of egresses is extremely important. Currently in India, most of the high-rises, what we are seeing in Ahmedabad are residential, but residential also has a problem here, because air conditioning is being done unitary. My architect friends do not want to see my air conditioning units, and we don't have district cooling. District cooling is in the country is currently limited to Ahmedabad, the gift city, where we have district cooling. But moment it comes to a unitary system, because the owners, the developers or building, or we do not have facility management team which can manage a central system, and collection of money from individuals could be a problem because air conditioning does consume 60% of energy. Now with that, it is a trend that you go with unitary products like VRVs or splits, and since architects do not want to see them, they get encased into louvers which don't allow my air conditioning units to breathe, and with the result, with the stack effect, these temperatures, these units which normally you see in catalog 1.5 ton, 2 ton, they are rated for 36-degree ambient, but unfortunately the temperature rises and it can go beyond 50-degree, and at that point, my air conditioning system will start derating, and deration can lead to a very high electrical inflow, and this can even get to a fire situation. The way things are happening, we have already witnessed some nasty fires in Mumbai in high-rise buildings. So the electrical system again becomes very important. The use of, the way the metering is being done currently needs a complete change. We need to think about bus duct systems, avoid the cabling, and the metering has to be smart metering so that number of cables can come down and bus ducts can really do that work very, very efficiently. The metering of water becomes very important. Today only Dipen Bhai had taken me to Nerathon. He is also very active on plumbing side. And understanding of water use is very important. Now, the way the plumbing has to be designed for a high-rise building is a very sensitive subject. And I would urge all designers to take care of it, that you meter this, you must have central supply system so that it gets metered, and therefore you don't, because in a high-rise building, if something start leaking, you can have disaster, and if person is not responsible for his water meter, then you can have very serious cases. Also, use of central heating system with the heat pumps can bring down a lot of energy, and that is the way decarbonization is being addressed globally. So use of central system, because if everybody starts putting geysers, the electrical loads could be very high. We have done couple of buildings with 67 floors with central heating systems in city of Mumbai, and it is very, very important aspect that you can bring down the overall electrical connections. So I think there are many things which can happen. I think one session is not good enough. We can take a complete day for various topics on MEPF services, and I would urge that the institute does it, because it is not only important for this faculty but also for architects, because that is what you are going to do. The generation sitting here is going to deal with buildings. Unfortunately, Vatsalbhai will not like it, but this is going to be the future. Unfortunately, we'll have to understand the intricacies of it and work together, and integration. And to me, the tall building construction should not be started by any builder or developer before every design aspect is 100% completed, because each and every square inch to developer matters. We need to save each and every square inch of space, and in multiple level, when you talk about 50, 60, 70 floors, every square foot or every square inch will make a lot of commercial sense to him. So my earnest request is, don't even start excavation unless complete 100% design work is done, which doesn't sound good to many people, because once he has invested into land, he wants something to happen at site, and that haste should not be done. This is my sincere advice. Thank you so much.
Very valid point that the planning should be completed before the excavation starts, or else as the construction progresses, and if the design is not 100% free, it can create various problems which can lead to a very much delay in the project schedule. So moving on to the same topic as the MEPF services, I would like to ask Mr. Dipen Mehta that what are the modifications that can be done in the present situation? Like for example, people think that when they design MEP services or any other services, they start to compare it with a low rise and then they just multiply the services. So how important is it to address the present situations, and what are the modifications that can be done in the present situation?
Yeah, before coming to your question, I would like to say something else. During COVID and after COVID, the importance has been given to medical field. Now, the entire supporting system, including UV disinfection system, sanitization system, ventilator, support infrastructure, has been designed by all the engineers. but we have forgot to take pride on that. So I will again urge everyone, all the engineers here, that please be honest to yourself, true to yourself, and take the engineering forward. This is the message for Engineers Day, number one. Number two, when we are talking about tall buildings, there are two aspects. One is codes and standards, right? Dargah sir told about the integrated design approach. Now the codes and standards, we have certain codes which are not even right now appropriate for tall buildings. So we are using many international codes. Our National Electricity Code recently has been updated. National Building Code is under review, and definitely few more topics will be included by next year. We are also working on that aspect. So then we talk about performance-based building design. Now, the building has to perform under the worst condition and the design condition. When you occupy a building, you expect that the air conditioning will work up to this temperature, or your fire and life safety will work. So the building design, the entire concept needs to be changed, and the integration of building services with city infrastructure is very important in case of tall buildings. Now suppose there is an incident of fire, and you are not getting support from city infrastructure for fighting the fire. Up to certain extent, you can fight the fire with your installed system, but later on you need, so the communication between, so that is the concept of smart city what we are talking. So the concept of communication between building services and city infrastructure is very important, particularly in case of tall buildings. So the integrated approach execution. So again, we all engineers have to be very honest that what we are designing, that is exactly to be executed. It is very critical in case of tall buildings. Thank you.
Coordination is a prime responsibility of any PMC consultant among all the stakeholders. So communication circle should be complete for the design aspect and with the requirement of the clients as well. So we are dealing with the different expertise of consultant for the one project. So all the information should be passed to all consultant, and it should be on the same platform to design a proper building, a tall building. And there are many factors affected during the design. As sir said, architecture also integrated with the MEPF services, and also it's a structure. So among all this stakeholder, it should be a clear information passed, and it is a prime responsibility of the PMC to convey all the information. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Moving along with the PMC consultancies. So there are various challenges that are faced when it comes to implementing the planning, which is done in terms of time, cost, labor availability, and material procurement on site. Also, like as height increases, there is a huge challenge when it comes to labor availability. There might be some issues that labor might not want to go at that height, or due to some phobia or fear of height. So how would you address the implementation of the planning which is already done? Thank you very much.
Hello. Thank you very much, Sept, for inviting all of us. And as rightly said, Anil madam, about the studio system, which is, I would personally, I'm involved because of indirectly my son is in the 9th semester, And that studio system is one of the best system because I have every day almost interaction with my son, okay, what they are teaching here in the institute, and that is the kind of one of the best system. And as I would say, I would think by the students which are coming out from this institute, it's equally the 4 year or 5 years experience engineer compared to the market other. I mean, that's what I assume, KB, that is the kind of education is here. Thank you. Coming to the your question, the challenges especially, it's basically in before we start the construction, we required some time for the design development, and then the pre-construction stage is the most important time for the project management or engineers or those who are on the site or the field, because they don't have to do the design. Design is done by architect and the structural engineer and the MEP consultant. The engineer role is to execute the best way, the performance and the quality is the main aspects or role of the engineers. So main thing is the pre-construction stage, proper planning on the site, let's say whatever the plots you have, the site manage, you have to do the site planning in terms of the block diagram kind of a, okay, where we will set up the all equipments. The equipments include the tower crane and other thing. It is a very strategic locations where to install. The same way man material lift, the same way the concrete pump and the piping, the same way the water supply line and the electric power as we go up and up and up next to next to next floor. So this is, and the same way the material logistics, because this is all the very important and key role of any project management or engineers, those who are on the field. And similarly, during the design development at this stage, pre-construction stage, similarly as everyone, the people say, we have to look for the concrete design. Design mix is the one of the important criteria, which we have to do it in the same duration with different vendors or on the on-site plant or something. And that is the way. And the second thing is about the speed. We have to come out from the, and already we have started that practice in Ahmedabad. Okay, we are come out from the conventional shuttering to the aluminum shutterings. There are a number of companies like Mivan and other companies in Hyderabad base, and there are a number of companies, and a lot of contractors have started using that practice also. So speed is a very, very essential criteria in the high rise, because the completion deadline, the RERA deadline for the developers also, because the completing the RCC structure. So that is the one thing in the changing in the shuttering is the important thing. And same way material planning, similarly up to the material planning, up to the basement, we come out up to the ground floor is a big, big challenge, because steel yard is where you are putting the concrete pump, as I said. And above the superstructures, we are little bit comfortable because we have a plenty of space available, like basement is with us, ground floor is with us. So up to basement is a big challenge for the similar things. About the labor problem, yes, everywhere it is a boom in India. So there is a labor crisis. The only way you can counter part is use the maximum equipments and machineries. That's the only solutions for the labor challenges.
Innovation foundation techniques and your views on ground improvement techniques. As we all are aware that ground and soil is the most important thing when we want to construct any building. So what are your views?
Thank you for your question. Basically, I will just discuss about the situation in Ahmedabad. See, in Ahmedabad right now, as per my last, in Ahmedabad, the Gujarat government has set up a special technical committee for approval of 100-meter tall towers. And as per the last committee, almost 16 tall towers have been approved, which are 100-meter tall in Ahmedabad. So all these tall towers in Ahmedabad regions are having about 3 to 4 basements, sometimes even 5 basements. So fortunately in Ahmedabad, the soil conditions is good. We are able to provide raft foundations, and we are getting the adequate bearing capacities. But these are for the tall structures. Now, if we go for mega structures and superstructures, then raft foundations alone will not be sufficient. We'll have to go with the piled raft systems. So right now we are okay, because tallest structure, as per my knowledge, in Ahmedabad that is going to come is about 150 meter. So that is not that tall in global scenario. It's tall for Ahmedabad, not tall for global scenario. So up to 150 meter or maybe 160 meter, we are getting adequate bearing capacity with the raft foundations. So that is the one part. Second part, going further, if we are talking about super and mega tall structures, then we need to go for piled raft systems. Now, piled raft systems are not adequate provisions are given in the codes, because whenever, even if you are, some structural engineers are over here, so whenever designing piled raft systems, if your springs are not taken properly, most of the load will be taken by the pile, and it will behave like a pile foundation, not a piled raft systems. That's why the code has to be modified, because these piles have to be yielding piles. You cannot allow only 12 mm or 18 mm settlement for this pile. These piles have to be yielding pile. You have to increase the pile deflections of this pile to entire foundation system to behave in toto, not individual pile or individual raft. So those codes have to be modified. Okay, so this innovation is to be required. More of research I want you students to take upon the analysis of pile raft systems, because this is going to be the next challenge in the tall structures in Gujarat. That is the second part. So pile raft systems are going to be, we will have to use those foundation systems. Unfortunately, for tall structures, we cannot have any ground improvement, either raft foundation, pile foundation, or combination of pile raft systems. We cannot do ground improvement and increase the bearing capacity. Okay, so ground improvements are generally for weaker soils, where for minor structures. For tall structures, no ground, I won't advise any ground improvements. So I give stress to the pile raft systems now. Open foundations are good, raft foundations are good. Third part about is the monitoring. So all the such structures we design, we are putting pressure pads and the settlement markers below the raft. So that's why we'll know exactly how what we are designing is behaving, structure is going to behave like that. Because that is also equally important. So most of the structure, about 10 structures are coming up under our report. And we advise pressure pads and the settlement markers. So unfortunately, these structures are in construction stage right now. At 3 to 4 stories, they will reach 3 to 4 stories. So that much load has not yet come on the pressure pads. So we still don't know how it is going to behave. So this will be a good data generation. Once we start getting this data, we can economize on the foundations. Right now we are doing little bit on, I think we are designing foundation little bit on a conservative side, because we don't have that much data. Understand one thing, that whatever investigation we are carried out right now for this structure is about 60 to 70 meter below the existing ground levels. We are getting the samples from those levels, so we need to have more number of field tests to be included. Not only the SPTs and UDS samples that we get from the test board. So we need to more fields like pressure meter tests are to be carried out, which can give the in situ properties. Then we can do better engineering. Okay, so these are some challenges that I'm looking at, because right now itself the developers are a little bit worried because of the cost for the geotechnical investigations, because we are going 60 to 70 meter deep. That is quite a big amount with what they have been expecting up till now. Okay, so that additional tests are required, which will eventually help then in the foundations, raft foundation. The raft foundation thickness may reduce or reinforcement may reduce, because right now we are little bit going on a conservative side. And last and not the least is this entire thing is a soil structure analysis. So whatever we do, there are so many softwares available in the market. Again, in all the software, garbage in, garbage out. So that's why you have to be very careful in what you are putting in the software. Everybody has become expert now. Everybody knows how to use the software. So what my suggestion is that you validate the software with some basic parameters. Take a UDL on the raft, validate the software, do with the hand calculation, and match your analysis value from the software and the hand calculations. Because I'm hearing this kind of argument that by doing the hand calculations will not give the right results, only the softwares will give the right results. That is totally humbug. Okay, both the analysis should match because there are methods how we can do the analysis. So both the analysis should match. So that is what I'm saying about the soil structure. When there are geotechnical software, we model entire layers of the soil in our geotechnical softwares. Then we come out with the settlement. Based on the settlement, we share the spring constants or module of subgrade reaction with the structure engineers. Structure engineers will do their analysis considering these springs or module of subgrade reaction in their safe or any other software. Then they find the deflection. So whatever the deflection they are getting in their model, safe model, and whatever the deflections we are getting in our model should match. There should not, one should not say something and the other should not. They should converge. That is what we are talking about, the soil structure interaction. So that is also an adequate part. And this soil structure interaction will become more challenging when you start doing the pile raft systems, because then it will be very difficult to match your settlement of piles and the raft and what we are getting in our geotechnical model and what we are getting in the safe model. I hope whoever the structural engineers are here will understand what I'm trying to say over here. So that is a challenge, and you start working on this right now, because next 5 years, pile raft systems are certainty in Ahmedabad. Thank you.
So I think that as comment that you have to validate your software is very much suitable for us as students. Like we use so many software every semester, but it is very important for us as students that not blindly follow the software. Rather, you should learn some manual calculations so you can at least find if there are any loopholes or if the software is giving erroneous data. So I think that point should be kept in mind by all the budding engineers sitting over in the hall. So that was always the challenges. Like as we said, challenges brings opportunities. So what kind of opportunities will high-rise construction and design, high-rise construction will create for both the design as well as construction community, especially architects, structural engineers, or other professionals. So it is very important to know that what are the opportunities which will be rising in the coming future. But I think that the most important opportunity will be for the developers. So as a developer, what is your take on the affordability in terms of new construction technologies, and what are the opportunities which you see for the high-rise sector in Ahmedabad in the future?
Very rightly said that the challenges that we see, and we do see an opportunity from all the challenges. I think the panel has given some excellent points, and these are all the day-to-day things that we are facing. Right now we have 2 projects which are under construction that are at 70-meter tall, and there is one project which is about 135 to 140 meters which is under our design and review. And I think not only the construction execution challenges, but we are also looking at the challenges of our culture. We have faced questions from our customers that how will we are so spoiled that if the milkman delivers the milk like here in the morning right at the front of our gate, the newspaper guy, he will come in the morning and will deliver the newspaper in front of our gate. So it's like, what are the provisions for that in a high rise? So obviously we have given elevators, service elevators and stuff, but then the waiting time, because the service guy, we have a tendency where, you know, we used to keep that gate open for the elevator, so and then he would just distribute at all the 4 apartments on that floor, and then he would straight away go back to the elevator. But obviously now things are changing, technologies are changing. With high-speed elevators, you don't have that facility of keeping the door open anymore, and you know, the time taken for that. So it's also the challenges that we have to face in consideration to our culture. Affordability is something which is the biggest question as a developer they're facing, and somebody mentioned that time is how we see is one factor where we can try to reduce our cost. Maiwan is a great technology which I think probably is the most popular technology that is being used for the tall structures, and I think about we can get a reputation of a slab in about say 10 to 12 days, because the columns and the slabs both can be executed at the same time. But that again brings to another cultural challenge. As of now, tall buildings are preferred only by the higher segment, and once again we are spoiled by by the older generation of developers, where they have given the liberty to the customer to do as many customizations they want to do in terms of the interior aspect. Now, when you come with a technology of Maiwan, where you have a total shuttering done and you have pre-designed modules for your electric and other fixtures, this brings a huge challenge, and the customer feels that if I'm paying so much of amount and if I'm not being allowed for a customization in my own apartment, how fair is that? And probably a developer who is developing a scheme right next to us, who has a 7-story or a 10-story, is much happier because he's delivering the project in 2 to 3 years, and he's also being able to give that customization. And obviously the construction cost is also less. And we have also faced challenges where people have said that, like, you know, you're getting more FSI and this is in your benefit. People have seen this as more as a developer's profit or developer's benefit. In actually regards to, this is a challenge to a developer rather than a more money minting machine. And I think it's a transition phase. That's how I see it. And we have accepted this challenge. I think we'll jump into this exciting challenge. And as and when we keep progressing, I think we'll be in a better position maybe months or years later to comment how we can make it even more affordable. We are also in talks with a lot of our contracting firms to explore technologies that are being used in Pune, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, where they have reached a level where, you know, it is very routine for them to construct this kind of structures, and the pricing they are able to gauge is a little bit better as well. The biggest challenge over here is that Ahmedabad has always been a very conservative market. It has been a very reasonable market. If you look at the property prices, I think still you will find a property in Ahmedabad at about 4,000, 4,500 or less than 5,000 rupees per square feet, which is probably one of the most affordable city in terms of the top 10 cities or top 10 big towns of India. And that is where the biggest challenge as a developer we are facing. Because as soon as you go into high rises, we have recently launched a 3 BHK project, which is at a 70-meter height, and we are selling at very, very reasonable rates. Fortunately, my father comes from a background where he invested in the land, and that's why I could challenge him with the land price. But if I had to buy that land from the market and I have to still construct it, then I think it would have been a very, very difficult project to make it viable. So there are innumerable challenges, but I think whenever you have a subject which is very new to you, you have to go through this transition. And I think once you keep passing from it, you learn from your mistakes, you learn from these challenges. And as a team, I think we'll all evolve from it very soon.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, when we are looking at opportunities in high-rise construction, there is one question that arises about how innovative design opportunities do we see for high-rise. So first, I would like to ask Mr. Vatsal Joshi, sir, about.
Thank you. And talking about opportunities, let us go back a little in time and understand where these high rises started from. Obviously, it was scarcity of land and the premium that one had to pay for that particular land, and that is why everybody went in for high rises. And I'll quote an example of Dubai, which was a unique example because Dubai did not need to go high rise. They had a lot of land, but they made it just to position themselves to the world, to sell to the world. So there are multiple reasons for going high rise. And now let us talk about the opportunities. And also one more example that I don't know if the students here know of an architect called Hassan Fathi, Egyptian architect. He died in '89, and in his career he has made not a high rise but a structure of 7 stories in mud, right? So there are opportunities everywhere that you can explore. You guys must be surely knowing there are high rises happening 85 meters and above of timber in Europe. So metal structure, obviously ma'am told in Eiffel Tower so long before. So there are multiple opportunities in terms of the way high rise or a tall building is approached. And that is where I think, Pankaj, I was trying to ignite the mind of students that we will need to question everything. We can't take things for granted. We will need to question that, is it right? Is it necessary? Is it the thing to do for that particular project or yes or no. So you will, if we start opportunity will build once we start questioning things, and that obviously then the sky is the limit. I mean, there are rotating towers and multiple things that are happening, self-generating electricity. So multiple things that can be actually wind, of course.
The opportunities need to be created. And now coming back to Ahmedabad and the scenario that we are talking about, the slow and steady rise of Ahmedabad from 30 to 40 to 70 to now 150. Is a transition that we are seeing, and as soon as we, again, as a team of the construction industry, find a solution that is much more affordable to the user, the entire industry is going to be different when the solution is going to be affordable. So opportunities are in finding a solution which is user friendly, which is easily accessible, even in terms of the construction, the materials, the technologies that we adopt. Everything will go spiraling fast once a solution which is much more user friendly is adapted. Thank you.
So when it comes to opportunities, it's very crucial how do we integrate the MEP and other services. So I would like to ask Pankaj sir that how do you address the design opportunities that are created in terms of the service and other MEP?
So thank you. I think before I go to that answer, I will like to touch upon what Dipen Bhai said in terms of tall buildings, in terms of fire and life safety, and there cannot be a dependency on the fire, I would say, department, because once you cross 90 meter, you have no way that they can help you egress. So to me, any tall building need to be a self-sustaining building. Entire engineering has to work in terms of not only firefighting, but also in terms of its egress systems. And more than anything else, and if you are talking about, Sharbil, on the habit the people have, if you are living in tall buildings, you need to know if in case of any fire event happens, what needs to be done. So even our children staying at 100 meter, they need to know that fire department cannot come and take you down. So the awareness on fire and life safety in event of any earthquake, what to do in event of a fire situation, what to do is a very huge challenge to me, and it needs to be addressed culturally. People have to take training, people have to understand that the fire department will take 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and with the current traffic, it may be more time. By that time, the building is gone. So basically, to me, engineering plays very important role, and this understanding and that awareness of people who are going to live in this building is also extremely important, which needs to be addressed when you sell the apartment to him or make him educated. I don't know how do we do it, but for that, fire FSAI, which is Dipen is also fortunately on our national team. We have come up with FSAI Suraksha Index, which is like green building certification rating. We are also rating the buildings for fire and security, which is just launched, and I've in fact written to Prime Minister's office that every building should be rated so that the buyer understands what he's buying, and there is an increased awareness of fire and life safety. And in terms of what Dipen Bhai you said, Dipal Bhai, that currently in Mumbai, in tall buildings, we have gone to a level that 30 to 50,000 square feet of floor plate we are turning in 11 days because it is all integrated, and all efforts are being done to make it happen that we go to a 7 to 8 days when a slab gets turned, and this is all possible if integration is there. And you rightly said that the Maiwan, which was a Malaysian firm, and I could see that Indian firms like KNest, and there are many who are now coming up, and they will probably overshadow even the Maiwan, because we have started doing this work in cities like Siliguri, which is tier 3 cities, using this technology. But you rightly said that element of interior gets added. Earlier, probably our integration was limited to architects, structural consultant, but now interior of each and every apartment, if you need to speed up, and it will become important, because if you need to deliver this project, it has to be done in reasonable time, because you already spent on land and other infrastructure. You don't want to wait, and the buyer who is buying the building cannot wait for 4 or 5 years to for building to get completed. That's not going to happen. So another challenge, which is the biggest challenge, is how do you complement this speed? And for me, unfortunately, my MEP industry is not ready. I mean, currently the biggest time is taken in finishing the toilets. All of us will agree that it could take good number of days. So there is a huge work which needs to be done by my industry. Huge investments are required. Fortunately, I did the first MEP package kind of module project for Omkar, which was like 250-meter tall building, where we created the MEP modules, and currently all of us are working using softwares like Beam, and often I see that those models get ready, and I'm also working with GIF in many projects where they are saying that handover के समय पे आप MEP का हमको Revit पे दे दो. Now why I'm questioning that? Why can't this be done before you start the work, before you do the design? It is ready, so that off-site manufacturing is possible. I think we need to go for off-site manufacturing if we want to complement builders' vision and dream to complete projects in time. The MEP industry has to invest into it. We have started getting complete modules of toilets now. Currently, there are people in Pune who are doing this. We were doing for 250-meter tall building, where the dry type construction complementing with a complete module which is coming up from the factory, which can be just lifted and erected, can bring down your construction time by more than 1.5 years in a project of 50 or 60 stories. So I think those are the areas which should look at, and this could be interesting opportunities where off-site work can happen and complement the speed of project. And that is the only way you can achieve the dreams of developers, builders, and creating the projects at reasonable cost. The new materials, which are a lot of research is happening globally, are others, which should get into the building industry, which will probably bring down the structural loads for even MEP services. So we are looking at those research, which could be on graphene anytime, and my structural engineers could probably throw more light on that, where we stand there. But I think that is a definite work where a lot of work has to happen. And of course, on the sustainability side, I am also founding member of CTBUH in the nation. And even the bamboos have gone to 100-meter plus tall buildings are getting constructed. So to the Sept, I will urge that you should have a specific session from CTBUH. I will ensure that it is arranged, and some key speakers can come from the globe or from the country who have good experience on tall buildings, and which could be a very good value addition to the knowledge of my young engineers and architects from Sept.
When we talk about opportunities, so as a contractor, Mr. Manish, what are the opportunities that you see when it comes to the technological innovations in the construction industry?
Like Revit or Beam and all that. Many engineers, particularly the engineers who are involved in the construction field and who are executing the projects, they right now study the drawing, which is in hard copy, and execute on ground. But as Pankaj sir has also said that once we develop a model, Beam,
And once it is available before the concreting or before the activity on ground starts, a lot of things can happen. In fact, I have seen some of the apps also which can be used in mobile. So even execution engineer who is working in a different location, he doesn't need computer on regularly visit the computer, check on the computer. He can see a lot of things on mobile app itself. So engineer, when now he will be executing a project, he will have to learn all this software, we can say, which are basically understanding the building properly. It's not that we excavate, we carry out foundation, we construct a column, slab, and beam, and the work is done. As a lot of intricacies are there, millimeters are also reviewed by engineers, structural engineers, and architect also needs certain specific requirement which are to be met, and building bylaws are also there. So execution will not be so simple like we are doing in one or two story building. So one is that, understanding the technology. Second, when we are talking about reducing slab cycle time, maybe from 20 days or 25 days to 8 days, 10 days. So Maiwan is one of the formwork system. In Ahmedabad, it is not much used except for some EWS projects. So Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, or in Pune, Maiwan formwork system is used. And in abroad also, a lot of projects there are done. So the people in Ahmedabad, particularly in Gujarat, they are not accustomed to this, so they have to learn what different type of formwork system can be used and will be used, so they have to learn for that also. That is also one of the opportunity. Project management per se, when we are saying, a lot of digital construction management things, last week we discussed about this here also. And 3 days back, I attended one conference at IIT Bombay, and they were talking, it was on construction technology. Most of the thing what I heard was related to IT. But we all know, as a civil engineer, we all know that technology does not mean only IT. A lot of the things, as he also said, that something has to be done with material, what different type of material can be used for as a raw material, or as an enabling structure like aluminum formwork rather than plywood, and various other things from a material perspective. A lot of method will have to change. Machinery and equipment requirement also will also change. These are different areas where now civil engineer will be able to, in Ahmedabad particularly, will be able to have some exposure and learn from it.
Thank you, sir, for that answer. So I would like the audience to applaud for Mr. Rajesh Raval, who has just joined us for the discussion. So, as a structural engineer, Mr. Valay, what are your takes on the design opportunities that arise when it comes to tall building construction?
Well, thank you for again. We have heard about from the, all the specialists that, as Vassal sir said, the structural system will eat up some carpet area. At the same time, we want to have economy. At the same time, we want to make it affordable and speed and time. So for those all the reasons, we must have to adapt new structural system. Till now, we were using that moment frame system, which means beam column system. Then we upgraded to Maiwan system, wherein the shear walls are there. But above that, ahead of that, currently we are designing a project in Navi Mumbai. There are 25 buildings, each are 30-story towers. So in that, clients watch the speed, time, and this project is affordable. In this, there is a 1 BHK, 2 BHK, 3 BHK, all segment of flats. Now see 30-story tower and having 1 BHK. So for that, and they are going to sell around 6,000 rupees square feet only. So now, how to achieve this project in a particular, economical as well, speed and time. So we are going for above this Maiwan tunnel formwork system, wherein we will have almost all shear walls, except the plumbing walls and other required for the services point of view. Other than that, this tunnel formwork system widely used in Godrej city in Pune. Currently, we are going to use it. So wherein we will get almost 4 days a cycle. So now this 4 days a cycle system, which will,
drastically changed my speed and project completion time. At the same time, believe me, we did engineering that 30-story tower having only 160 mm thick shear walls with single jali reinforcement. Can you believe it? How much carpet area developer or the end user will get? Only 200 thick walls, some locations at the up to certain floors. Otherwise, all walls are 160 mm thick with a single jali. So this kind of technology, this kind of engineering, and of course we have to follow codal provisions as I said earlier. So along with that, we have to manage this system, and we need to work on this new technology and new things. And yes, as Minitbhai said, rightly said, pilot system would be the future. But Mumbai is lucky on that part because they are having rocky strata. So we are getting almost 200 to 300 ton per meter square of HPC, while in Ahmedabad we have to facing challenges in terms of soil strata. And of course, construction practice is also very much important in this segment, as Manish Bhai said. So that's all from my side. And yeah, if we want to go more than 150 meter, 200 meter, then there would be another structural system which need to be adopted, which is like not only shear wall can work, where we have to go for core with outrigger system, tube plus frame system, tube in tube system, and the multi-tube system, which are required for 250 meter and above buildings. So this is the only thing we can adopt by using the new technology, construction formworks, superior construction practice, and the implementation of all these subjects at the same time.
Like as he mentioned about the codal provision, how critical are those codal provisions? I would like to ask Mr. Bhairav that what is your comment on the codal provisions when it comes to tall buildings, and how do you see the opportunities in those provisions?
Yeah. So I think the opportunity is related to the technical things he has already discussed, and I totally agree with it. But I would like to talk about three other aspects. First is the opportunity for engineers in terms of leadership, right? So if we take a tall building, the engineering takes precedence over everything else, right? If you take historically, the tall buildings became possible in Chicago because of innovation of tubular structure done by Fazlur Khan. Or, Burj Khalifa became possible because of William Baker's innovation of buttress tube. So I think this tall building gives a fantastic opportunity to engineers to be the leaders, because it starts with the engineering. It cannot be said that engineering is a necessary evil and you get done away with it. In fact, everything starts with engineering. So I think for all the young engineers here, it's a fantastic opportunity to become the leaders in the construction industry. Second opportunity is opportunity to collaborate. For example, if I'm doing a normal building, the only collaboration I may have with a geotechnical consultant is to have a look at his 20-30 page report and find where the SBC is mentioned, and that's the end of it, and I'll put the soil report aside. But you can't do that in case of a tall building. I may have to interact so many times with him, come up with an efficient solution for the foundation. Similarly, it provides opportunity to collaborate with the construction team. I cannot propose any sizes that I like, because it depends on what kind of formwork systems are there. So it provides a lot of opportunities in terms of collaboration. And thirdly, it provides opportunity in terms of innovation, right? Like he rightly said, that certain types of systems will work better. And it is possible to come up with innovative solutions. And historically also, if you will see, those systems have evolved and resulted into a lot of innovation. A very simple example, like after 9/11, it has become very important to design structures for abnormal loads, right? So can you come up with a system which has more alternate load paths, right? So that, failure of a local member may not lead to a global collapse. So all these opportunities are there, and I think it's a great time for all the engineers here to come into the profession.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would like to improvements can be made in government policies and guidelines regarding the high-rise construction?
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, let me apologize. I will be late because of some reasons. I mean, I had to rush to for some meetings. So yes, I'm sorry for that. Yes, if you talk of high-rise or say old structures, I think let me just give you a brief about what is high-rise or what is old structure. Initially, the development plan of Ouda, which was the first development plan in 1987, that had a provision of a building up to 30 meters only. Means in Ahmedabad, you could build up a building with height restriction to 30 meters. And in that, high-rise and low-rise were in such a way that low-rise would be a building which is G plus 2 or say 10 meters roughly, and any building which is more than that and up to 30 meters will be a high-rise. Then in the first revised development plan, that is in 2000, the definition, sorry, the height was exceeded to 40 meters. Means in that scenario, 40 meter was the tallest structure that was allowed in Ahmedabad. So obviously, whatever the structures we are seeing in those times, it's up to 10-story. In 2014, the things were changed and the definition of high-rise and low-rise is actually excluded. There is no definition of high-rise and low-rise as such in the GDCR right now. The development plan which was issued in 2014, that is 20th December 2014 of Ouda. I'm basically, targeting Ouda only because that is the pioneer of all the development plans. So in 2014, when the development plan was sanctioned, the 70-meter height was allowed. Means up to 45 meters, and then there was a scope from 45 to 70 meters. So the height up to 70 meters was allowed till date before 1 or 2 years. So that was called, you can say, high-rise building. As such, there is no definition of high-rise and low-rise in the GDCR. So up to 16.15 or say up to 25 meters, then 25 to 45 meters, and 45 to 70 meters. Whenever you want to have a 45 meter and above structure, you have to go for a structural committee, which is in the AMC, headed by some commissioner and everybody. And that structural committee has got private consultants also in a committee, and you have to take a consultancy from that, structural consultancy from that committee also. In 2021, when I was also, somebody has written in my profile also, I was with Honorable CM sir in that CMO office, and at that time government thought of, can we go for more than 70 meters? And we had an n number of distance, n number of people with whom we had even from Bombay and from other cities of the country and even outside the country. And ultimately it was decided at the level of government, you can say the policy level decision, that a chapter of toll structure was introduced in the GDCR. Toll structures. Toll structure is a structure or a building which will be above 100 meters only. So as such, there is no provision from 70 meters to 100 meters right now also. Now somebody can question also why there is no provision. But yes, at least at that time when we wanted to introduce the toll structure, we thought or we wanted everybody should come with a structure which is more than 100 meters. Because otherwise what will happen, because I wanted to give the FSI also up to 5.4 meters. The FSI which was allowable from 1.8 plus 0.9 chargeable, say 1.2 plus 0.6 chargeable, whatever it may be. But for a toll structure, if somebody is coming for a toll structure, he will be allowed to have a FSI of 5.4, wherein base FSI of say 1.8 or 1.2 would be a free, and then it would be a chargeable FSI. But then, simultaneously, in all the areas where there is base FSI of 1.2 only, then only it is allowed. So in R3 zone presently also our toll structure is not allowed. So in R2 zone where it is 1.2 base FSI, and in R1 zone and or in commercial zone also it is 1.8 or somewhere else, there you get a toll structure of from 100 meters and above. So from 70 to 100 meters, probably one of the contention was that if I go for any structure which is more than 70 to be a toll structure, so somebody will come to with me with 71 meter height and will take the 5.4 FSI. That also government did not want. And government wanted, yes, some iconic type of building should come in Ahmedabad or in the state of Gujarat. Because this is allowed in Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar, Surat, Vadodara and Rajkot only, not in all the other cities. So only 5 mega cities or some big cities of Gujarat, and where there is FSI 1.2. So presently, any structure which is more than 100 meters is considered as a toll structure. And if it is 100 to 150, then there is a floor size of 225 square meters, and if it is more than 3500 square meters, it can be more than 150 meters also. And I think by now we have already sanctioned roughly more than 20 or 25 high rises or toll structures in Ahmedabad, and even a single one building in So yes, people are coming work with the vertical development. Yes, there are many things to be seen when you are going for a vertical development, because after all, horizontal development or vertical development has always been a quiz or say a point of discussion. Somebody would say, okay, yes, we should go for horizontally, and probably we want complexity, and that gives you the verticality to be better. But questions always comes from safety, structure stability, and there all students sitting over here, they will be knowing much more better than me what can be the structure stability or what structure stability can be given. But as far as GDCs are concerned, so as FSI is concerned, that is the way we live. And government always thinks in a positive direction. Government also wants that the real estate sector should develop. It should boost up. And whatever the needs of the other cities or other towns are there, if it is needed over here, government is always willing to go for the such type of changes in the modifications in the GDCR or say development plans or whatever is needed. Yes, till date, probably if you compare with the Mumbai or say other cities, in Mumbai if you go, they are all skyscrapers only. That is not yet the case with this, because people also don't have that mindset to go higher in the higher buildings still yet. So it will take a little bit of time, but yes, now we are going for the vertical developments, and I think anything else you need to say?
I think that covers all the topics. It covers the topics which we discussed earlier, that was the challenges which we are facing right now. So thank you for that answer, sir. So I think we are running out of since we are running out of time, we'll take some last two questions. So as of like this question is for the project management consultancies. So as a PMC, how important is it to adapt to meet the evolving needs and the challenges of the high-rise industry?
Yes, thank you. To evolving needs of for the high-rise building require project management tool and techniques to digital transformation, better risk assessment at execution level to analyze the execution activities, remote management through the various tool and techniques should be done, so it will be effectively manage the project in the terms of the time, cost and quality. Require consistency of the various analysis of techniques in terms of as everyone said, for the shuttering material should be shuttering technique should be designed with the speed like speed construction. Vertical movement is a challenge in a tall building for the material, for the manpower. So it should be analyzed and it should be designed with the safety so that the construction activity can be speed. Not only RCC frame structure should be complete within the timeline, but overall the project should be defined with the proper timeline so that the work project can be complete with all the aspects like MEPF services in the finishing. So it is a major challenge, like in the tall buildings, how will you transport the finishing material if in a high-end apartment, the Italian marble will be used. Then it is a challenge, how slab will be moved from the ground floor to up to 33 floors or up to 50 floors. So the service lift shall be designed in such a way that all the material movement or the vertical movement of any material manpower shall be conducted. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to ask Mr. Mihir Vora that what techniques would you like to introduce based on academic research available on this topic?
techniques, before going into the techniques, I will suggest we should go back to the fundamentals and basic engineering. Then the techniques will follow. Once that basic engineering and fundamental engineering principles are put in place, then you analyze the structure, then decide what is required, what kind of models we want to use, what kind of a software we use to. In geotechnical software, since I'm talking about mostly the geotechnical aspects, if you are doing the geotechnical analysis of a foundation systems, there are 15 to 20 soil models given in a software itself. Which model you are going to use? That's why that is a very important. Which soil model will be using for the analysis? Okay, so that is where your technique part will come. That understand which kind, how the soil is going to behave, how the rock is going to behave, and then do the analysis part. So that's why you need to get back to the basics about the which models are to be used in a software. As far as the developing technique over here is a base isolation, which is not at all common here, which is very common in Japan. I think in Mumbai some projects are being done with the base isolation system. That will help the structure become more flexible. So that again is a new development we should look into it. Base isolation and as I discussed, pile draft systems. These are the two things we should look into the future of these tall structures in Gujarat and in Ahmedabad. As they were based in Mumbai, they are encountering rock. They are fortunate, but we are not.
Thank you so much, sir. I would like to ask Mr. Vishveshwarayya if he has something to add upon this.
Hello. Something to add is like, first of all engineers must be ready to do the hard work, honestly. In any field project or if you are working in the office or field especially, they must be dedicated for the 24/7, I would say. That's the only path of success, 24/7. And they have to be from project engineer to, from the site engineer to project engineer. The project engineer, which I called in my definition, who can take care of civil, structure, basically RCC structure, framework, then the MEP things, and then the finishing things. Those who understand and study properly by proper sequencing and anything can lead to the project engineer. And for project engineer, the sky is limit. That's what I would say for the all engineers.
So since we are running out of time, I would like to open the questions to the audience in case anyone has any questions.
Good afternoon, sir. My question is to Mr. Vatsal Reddy and Mr. Rajesh Rahul. Is that one thing that I think we also should discuss regarding vertical construction is that tall buildings, if you picture it, you think of a big RCC structure with glass glazing on site. So there are certain examples where we live in a hot country, like hot and temperate environment. And unlike the western cities that have a more moderate, cooler environment, there have been examples of, for example, the infamous example of the walkie-talkie in London, which had a parabolic glazing structure, which actually made the condition on the street unbearable, and it had very expensive modifications to it. So if we are to see such a boom in a very hot environment, and where in India especially there is a lot of pedestrian movement of the traffic below, is there some sort of zoning that can be done to limit this, or some sort of new technique where I think 3D spatial glazing can be done so that the collective heating effect is not so massive on the streets below?
See, in all the development plans, zoning is already there. See, unless and until there is a zoning, there is a development control regulations, set of regulations.
and according to only the permissions are given. That's not an issue. The issue which you are raising, that is for the glazing, so that can be done. Obviously, I mean, any structure consultant, any designer consultant, they do it that way. And probably we in Ahmedabad also are getting such meetings where at least heat is transmitted, or so whatever is the best possible solution is there, we are doing it. But yes, of course, that can be done as a part of design of the building only. Zoning, suppose if I want to say only a particular area where only tolls will be given, that can be one way of thinking. But somebody else is thinking the other way around. Okay, all the roads which are of 60 meter height, why I should not allow high rises on that structures. So it's very difficult to just identify that this is the area where only high rises will be given. But we are giving to much more areas. But yes, you are saying so design guideline may also be.
Okay, I think I had put this point initially that I am of the opinion that it has to be centrally located, a CBD or whatever we want to call it, and that is where the prime business happens. So that kind of takes care of that part. But I'll also, Rajesh bhai, I'll take this opportunity to answer your question in a different way. We, as an Institute of Architects, IIA, we had given a proposal to AUDA, and AUDA also accepted it, that since we are in Ahmedabad, we are not in anywhere else in the world, we will have glazings only on the north side. And that was part of the bylaws, if you remember. So we have been proactively doing this. We have to understand that where we belong, and Sharvil also mentioned our cultural background. We have to be very sensitive to all these things. It is not necessary to have entire glass buildings. It is our own sensitivity that will make buildings that are efficient and for the zone or for the place that we belong to. So it is for the architects, for the developers, and for everybody to understand that we really belong to this place and we'll have to respect the culture and the climate of this country.
Can I add here? So I think the most of the tall building, unfortunately, which are happening, whether it is Dubai or you see India, I mean our hot and humid climate I'm talking about, because the invent of tall building, though started from North America, the currently 100 plus tall buildings, if you see the proportion, is all happening in Asian region. And we are following what happened in US probably, and all buildings have gone on the structural glazing side, because it primarily helps a developer, builder and architect to finish a building in much faster way. If the projections are there, it is a constructability issue which challenges. But there are bioclimatic structures which are coming up in Malaysia, Singapore. You will see the vertical gardens being put in, and very nice elevations being designed by eminent architects of the world. Of course, it is always being challenged for us because we need to feed water and take it out continuously in case it is vertical garden. But another building which we are doing in Mumbai, which has 1.8 meter projection, and it has 303 meters are already casted there, where the projections are not only shading it, they are also being used for fire egress. And on these projections, we have also done the radiant system, which is taking out the heat. And this is being done, this is happening. Of course, the numbers are a little smaller, but I think that is the way forward. I think Vatsalbhai already said that the window glass ratios, and if glasses are to be there, if they are given a guideline, I think it will help immensely to move towards sustainability of these projects.
Any more questions?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Devjani, and I'm a student of final year in Masters in Construction Engineering and Management. So I want to ask, like, that everyone knows that in conventional project delivery systems, every stakeholders are working in their silos, and then like design is created, then it's passed on. That Pankaj sir also wrote that integrated project delivery systems, like every stakeholders can discuss their designs, discuss their ideas, discuss their different opinions. So my question is that, is it really possible to do, like, we are very fortunate that we are having all the stakeholders related to high-rise building present over here. But in real projects, where every stakeholders are having multiple projects with them. So for creating that integrated project delivery system, how can we do that? And if it is possible, are the stakeholders ready to do that?
I'll give you different example. Chandrayaan. Now making up Chandrayaan in a cost of one aircraft. Have you imagined that earlier? It's engineering, I'll tell you that, right? So when it comes to integrated, there is no choice left as such, right? We have to do that. So if you are not able to do that or achieve that, you will not be able to build tall buildings. That is number one. Number two, the evolvement cycle. Now if you see, Sarvil Bhai, it took 20 years for Ahmedabad to reach 5,000 rupees a square yard to 5,000 rupees a square feet. Am I right? Now, if you again want to take more 20 years, no. We want that NASA will come to ISRO, boss, next satellite we want to launch through ISRO. That is what the change we need in the industry, particular engineering, right? So if you are not ready for that, we will not be able to take it forward, right? It's as simple, there is no choice left. We have very shortage of land. We have increase in the population, concentration, migration from the villages, small towns to the metro cities, right? For the survival right now, only two challenges. Number one is pressure on the infrastructure land and on the natural resources. We have to balance two things. And when we are talking of tall buildings, these two parameters are very essential and important, right? So if we are not following integrated design approach, right, even the structure, the core design of the core, it is very important for structure and it is as well as very important for MEP design. All the services should run along the core, then we will be able to make the building very efficient. We were talking about performance of the building. Now, can you imagine that this screen, you will be able to see Burj Khalifa, the quality of air inside that, the water consumption, the electrical consumption live on the screen? It is now happening in India. Am I right, Dharkar sir? Even if you see Doubletree Hilton, you can see all the parameters live on the screen. That is what we are talking about engineering. So the entire engineering thought process has to be changed. And it is changing. So I'll take that way that next few years, all our engineers will grow up that level that any developed country will come to India, to our brains, that please, you are very economically building tall buildings, so please come to our country and build our buildings. That's it.
Sir, just to give you example, when I started my career in early 90s, I had to go and sell myself that you need a consultant. Architects were never consulting a MEP consultant. Believe this. Today the time has changed and we are also in equal demand. He will endorse that with architects and structural consultant, this fraternity is also looked after. So that is a challenge, that is an opportunity which automatically happens, and that is an awareness which has happened, and there is no option, sir.
I like to add over here what they are saying. It's very good time to be engineer. This is a changing time. I envy you people, because right now entire field is very dynamic. There are lots of opportunities out there. Just grab that right now. So many new things are happening. So many innovations are coming. So you are right time to be engineers right now. So grab that opportunities. Do something new. Okay, as Darkar Saab is saying, even geotechnical, Dhero Bhai said, even people are reading geotechnical reports now. That is the most amazing thing for me. So that is what I'm trying to say. It is a very good times to be engineer. This is what I was discussing Professor Sangvi of LD College when he met me. It's a good time to be engineer right now.
And add on in that, we are now doing integrated in 7-story building also. So it's not about tall structure only, but any single, even bungalow, you pick up any bungalow. We were integrated all the services and then only delivering on the site to the drawings and everything. So it is now completely, and we are used to architect, structural engineer, and MEP consultant are used to fight with each other to get the project delivered.
I'll give you another example that after earthquake of 2001, 5 years, Ahmedabad builders stopped making high-rise, and all the consumers, they will stop buying property in high-rise buildings, right? So it's just before 22 years. Now we are talking on tall buildings. You imagine the faith level gone to the end customers, end users on engineering, that now tall buildings are safe. This is what we want, that the faith on the engineering should go high and high, right? So I remember that 2001, like I was part of committee of inspection of so many structures like Batang Hotel, Reserve Bank, and the structure was so sound. Even today, if you see, there is not a single hair crack in Batang Hotel, right? So that is what the engineering is. Not only structure, all entire building, it is fully loaded with engineering design. That's it. Thank you.
Since he has brought up the subject of Patang Hotel, I like to add concrete mix was done by Professor Sibisha. We had done chill concrete over there at that time. So we are doing engineering long before also. Then it is being done also. But this is going to be more interesting times now. Okay. So Professor Sibisha is one of the, I think, my guru. He was associated with you, and we are fortunate to work with him.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you for the panel discussion. It was such an insightful discussion by all the panelists. I would like the audience to give a huge round of applause to the panelists.
Question that came to our mind was the development that is happening in Ahmedabad itself, which we look is around the city area. So there a question arises that where do the industry see the future of development of like high-rise construction in the core of the city? And how do the industry find a balance between preserving the cultural heritage and also a need for new age development construction? So Rajesh sir, if you can please answer that. Thank you.
As for the downtown event, we revise the development plan every 10 years. And as far as Howrah is concerned, it has been a trend. It has been revised at least 10 years, and it gets sanctioned within 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So every time we take all the factors into consideration, this is like one of central business districts. That's area which is on both the sides of Ashram Road, where 5 or 4 exercises given. Considering it will act as a central business district of the city. Secondly, there is TOD, that is transit-oriented development zone, where on the BRTS and MRT both the sides of 200 meters up to 200 meters. It's a zone where 4 FSI is given, considering the all big structures, all structures should come on there, so that they use the metro or BRTS maximum. That is to have public transportation, efficient public transport. Yes, presently probably there we are lacking somewhere, but we are not being able to utilize the public transportation to fullest. And probably with everybody else, we go by car. I don't know how many of you today have come to this place by metro or by BRTS. Everybody has got its own car. So probably that mindset will, and sometimes I feel, hey, can we do that? Hey, tomorrow if I put up a note in the GDCR, that no parking shall be required in any building which is in BRTS or MRTS. That TOD zone. So you should not own a car. Right? If you have a car, you will go with the car. If you don't have a car, you will go by, compulsorily you should go by BRTS and MRTS. So, such type of things still, again, I don't know whether that will come also. But yes, as far as the preservation of heritage is concerned, we always look into it. And there is even we give the PR also for transfer of development, that's what is called, to the structures which are to be preserved for the heritage. And in, suppose, some special projects like Sabarmati Riverfront Development Project is there. Sabarmati Assam is getting developed in our city. So there are many projects which are coming up in that way also. There is a high-speed rail corridor is there. We are revising the development right now also, because just when I was in Ola, because I retired for 7 days only. So as soon as I joined Ola, I was deputed last from CMO. The first thing I did was to resolved for the division of the development plan. And presently we are revising the development plan of Gandhinagar also, because Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar become a twin city in such a way that the development plan should be integrated development plan. Because development plan of Buda was developed and sanctioned in 2017, so it was to be revised in 2027. And Howrah's development plan was sanctioned in 2014, was to be revised in 2024. So every time 3 years gap was there. So this time we have thought, why not to prepare the development plan of revision of Buda, and we are revising both the development plan simultaneously. Though properties are different, but probably it will be integrated development plan. So every time public transportation is seen, metro, BRTS, zoning, urban, whatever you say, I will not discuss much more, because at the time of preparation, you need the existing land use. And based on the existing land use, you have the stakeholders, meetings. There are n number of people who are giving their ideas, and we try to accommodate everything, but development plan is not such a plan where everything can be inclusive. It becomes very difficult. Probably it's a those reduced plan, but we try to make the things which our city wants. I think that's it.
Now I would like to invite Professor Ganesh Devkar for the closing statement of the panel discussion. Let's invite him on stage with a huge round of applause.
So I know all of you are waiting for lunch, so I will be very brief. So I think just before concluding this, I just want to really appreciate Sagar and Dhruvi. I was just sitting in the audience and trying to recollect that at the bachelor's level, somebody can really mainstream this panel discussion with such a great panelist. I think both of you did really great job. I think I would not have done that thing when I would have at bachelor's level, so I'm really jealous of you on that. So let us start. So what I thought is I was just noting down some points. So instead of really concluding, I will summarize this entire discussion. So one thing which is really great is that we covered entire life cycle of a project, and I believe project is almost like a human being. So I would say right from the inception stage of a project, wherein we have some thought about what you want, then you design, plan the facility, construction and operation. So we covered entire gamut of entire life cycle, which is one of the key thing. The second thing which I like is that as we have a panelist which represents various stakeholders in the real life construction project, it was very interesting to hear from them about diverse perspective about how they go about looking at the tall buildings, and some of the point which I felt and which were very comforting for us as academics, to be very frank. When Pankaj sir was talking about this word integrated design, we keep telling this word in our classes, and often the questions are raised by the, I would call in a Septem young Jangta, that whether it is possible, and Dhruv is my student, so I was expecting this kind of question from the student, that they often question, is it possible to do it? And your answers were really comforting to us as academics, that it needs to be done. And the way Dipen bhai answered the question that you cannot go without that is the answer for that. So it's very good that what we sometimes discuss in the studio is getting connected with what you talked, which is really great. I would say the takeaways from this panel discussion were very much related to policy making and how we could take forward our practices also. So some pointers which were mentioned about having an open dialogue, and a lot of software aspects were touched upon, which is like a collaboration, which Mr. Bhairav also touched. And definitely coding, the modification of these codes and how we could kind of bring in research, which Mr. Mihir told into real practice is really heartening and interesting to think about. And I would always think a tall building, the context of tall building is very important. So cultural aspect, which Mr. Sharvil has touched upon, and where there was I could see there was a common agreement from everyone. Like Mr. Vatsal also told that you have to really question whatever is happening, because we need not emulate whatever is happening in the West. We need to rethink based on the local materials, local practices which are there in India. So it's really good food for thought for the engineers to kind of rethink the way tall buildings should be done in India, which is quite good, so that we need not just follow the processes which are developed or which are being adaptable to the developed economies. One of the key things which I keep feeling is that design is one thing, but actual realization of those things happen in the construction phase. And Mr. Manish David and Mr. Patwal so touched upon this point about quality, formwork system which goes into the construction of a building. And then Mr. Sharvil touched upon how we should operate and maintain these tall buildings, because one of the key things which I feel is what we see typically as a engineer is a very short life of a real project. The real test of that project is in the operation phase of the project, and when it comes to such a complex animal which is a tall building, the facility management or operation and maintenance of that project needs to be thought right from the beginning. And there was a quite great level of agreement among all panelists that we need to really think about how we could manage and operate these complex facilities. So just to conclude, I feel it was a really good food for thought for everyone who was here and to listen to such a great panelist. So I would just like to thank all the panelists for sharing this very valuable practice and academic and research-oriented thoughts about these tall buildings. Thank you. So over to Dhruvi.
I thank all the panelists and moderators for this very informative discussion. Now, as a token of our appreciation for your invaluable contributions to today's panel discussion, we are pleased to present these hampers as a token of thank you to each of our esteemed panelists. Now, I would like to congratulate Professor Dipsha Shah, Professor Dipen Mehta, Smith Borad, and Poojan Kamdar for their design registered for a water-efficient urinal as a part of their plumbing design studio. I would like to invite Dr. Anil Shah, Dean of Faculty of Technology, and Mr. Subramshu Goswami from Strategic Initiative Office to come on stage to give the award. Thank you. Professor Deepen Mehta. Professor Dipsha Shah. To Smeet Borad. Pujan Kamdar. On the occasion of Engineers Day, that is the 15th of September, there was a plan making competition organized by the Faculty of Technology, wherein the students competed in a group of 3, and I would like to call upon the winning team from FTUG 19. The winners are Akshada Patel, Harshit Kavadia, and Priyam Bhatt. I would like to invite Mr. Rajan Raval and Pankaj Dharkar sir to please distribute the prizes. Rajesh Raval, sorry. I would like to invite Smith Borer, the Administrative Secretary for the Undergraduate Student Council of Faculty of Technology, to give his vote of thanks. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I stand before you with a heart full of gratitude as we come to close on Remark Day of EDA 23. It's an honor and privilege to extend my heartful vote of thanks on behalf of Sept University and to all those who have made this event a huge success. First and foremost, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our esteemed panelists and faculties who have graced us with their presence and shared their valuable insights during our panel discussion. Your expertise and knowledge have been driving force behind the success of the EDA 23. Your enlightened talks and engaging discussions have left a lasting impact on all of us. I would also like to acknowledge and appreciate the hard work and dedication for the core committee members. Without their efforts and commitment, this event won't have been possible. They have worked tirelessly behind the scenes, coordinating every detail to ensure the smooth execution of EDA 23. Your passion and determinations are truly commendable. My heartfelt thanks also goes to the supporting staff, volunteers, and technical teams who have worked diligently to prove us with a seamless, memorable experience throughout the event. Your professionalism and dedication have not gone unnoticed, and I am grateful for your contributions. We must not forget the donors who have generously supported EDA 2023. Your financial support and collaborative efforts have been instrumental in making the event in a reality. Your belief in our vision and goals is deeply appreciated. To all the attendees and participants, thank you for your active involvement and enthusiasm participation. Your presence has brought an vibrancy and the life of EDA 23. We hope that you have found it as enriching as we have. Lastly, but certainly not the least, I want to express gratitude to each and every individual who has been part of this event, whether a speaker, attendee, or a supporter. Your presence and engagement have made EDA 2023 a memorable and impactful experience. As we wrap up the incredible event, let us carry forward the knowledge and inspiration we have gained. Let us continue to collaborate, learn, and grow, driven by the valuable insights that we have discussed, that we have taken place here today. In conclusion, of EDA 2023 has been a collaborative effort, and it is your combined support and contribution that have made it a resounding success. Thank you once again, and may the knowledge and connections forged here today continue to flourish and bring a positive change in our respective fields. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
So finally, a month of hard work has come down to this. So I would like to share my heartfelt thanks to everyone who has attended and shared their invaluable time for this event. Thanks to all the panelists for sharing your time and becoming a part of this panel discussion. I would like to request everyone to come in the central part of the hall so that we can have a group photograph. And I'll request all the panelists to get seated in the front row for the group photograph. And then we'll be breaking for lunch. Thank you. Have a good day.